Hey, welcome to More Than Maple, a show about food and culture across Canada from Bountiful Media and Harrowsmith Magazine. I'm your host, Capri Cafaro, and this is going to be a fun episode. I am kicking off the first in a series of episodes throughout the season, saluting Canadian cookbook authors. We're calling this series Cookbooks Across Canada. As part of Harrowsmith Magazine's 50th anniversary, their summer issue included a feature entitled Postcards Across Canada. The spirit of that piece inspired me to spotlight cookbooks and authors spanning from coast to coast. And stay tuned, because at the end of this episode, I'll also have a new special announcement about another project that's inspired by this Harrowsmith Magazine theme. So without further ado, I want to welcome our guest for this episode, Justin Champagne-Lagarde. He is the chef and owner of Perch. It's a restaurant in Ottawa. And he's also the author of a cookbook, which I happen to have, by the same name, Perch. We're going to talk a lot about this. And Perch was nominated in the first round this year for the 2026 Taste Canada Awards in the category of single subject cookbook. So to get any nod from Taste Canada Awards is a big deal. They say they're the James Beard of Canada, and that's legit. So Justin, welcome to the program. So excited to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been a long time coming. I'm excited to be a part of this.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned it. Our listeners and viewers do know that More Than Maple did have a previous iteration as a limited series for my show, Eat Your Heartland Out on Heritage Radio Network and Sirius XM. And so we're so excited that we were able to bring the show here to Harrowsmith Radio, Harrowsmith Magazine, and here in Toronto, which is where I'm sitting right now. But you're in Ottawa, but you're not an Ottawa native. So, you have a really storied culinary career. I know this is your first cookbook, but you've done a lot. So why don't you tell our listeners and our viewers just a little bit about your journey in the culinary industry?
Yeah, so I grew up in Winnipeg, Manitoba. That's where my family's from.
It's also where the Guess Who is from.
Yeah, there's a lot of good music out of Winnipeg. The independent scene in Winnipeg is incredible for music. But yeah, so I grew up there. My dad, I don't remember this, I was very young, but had a pizza shop apparently. Apparently I'd hang out with them. I got my first, official coaching job just north of Winnipeg, actually, in Lockfort, Manitoba, at Half Moon, which was just hot dogs, burgers. They still, to this day, they won World's Best Hot Dog, and I think it was like 1983 or something. They still talk about it. It's a great spot.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I was there for a bit, and then Fresh Cafe in Winnipeg before it closed. And then I actually ended up making my way to Lake Louise, Alberta. Not really with the purpose of cooking. Actually, I think, if I'm being honest, I think my original plan was to go to the oil fields and make some money.
Yep.
But, that didn't work out, and I ended up in Lake Louise, and that was, really, really amazing time. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in the world. Absolutely gorgeous. Ended up working at a small little cafe, mostly running or like managing, I guess. A little bit of food here and there, but nothing crazy. But food became more of a passion, or became more of a drive. So I ended up leaving Lake Louise to go to culinary school. That bounced me around a little bit, just trying to find a place to land. Ended up in Vancouver. I went to North Coast Culinary Academy of Vancouver, worked at Sea Restaurant under Robert Clark, which was absolutely incredible.
Wow. I bet.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to work with. Super incredibly knowledgeable about, food in general, but seafood is also a specialty.
Well, yeah, it's Vancouver, so it's much like the Atlantic coast. The Pac Northwest has that same kind of very special relationship with fresh seafood.
Exactly, and he was part of I can't remember exactly how it worked out, but he was part of Oceanwise, like being discovered or being created. So sustainability was a huge importance to him, which definitely started the importance for me as well. I looked up to him quite a bit. And then from Sea Restaurant, Hawksworth Restaurant, part of the opening team. So worked with people like David Zilber, who became famous for Noma and writing the fermentation book of theirs.
Oh, wow. Okay. And that is such a big, the fermentation stuff has been a really interesting trend, particularly a few years back, that focus on fermenting, the gut health, the umami of all of it too.
Yeah, the gut health is a really nice perk for sure. I don't know if that's necessarily what drove the trend, or I don't want to call it a trend because it is here to stay.
It's still a thing.
Yeah,
It's a thing.
and it's important. It's a great way to solve food waste. It's a great
Yeah,
way to
that's a good
add, like you
point.
said, umami and depth of flavor. Um,
Hmm.
and then yeah, the bonus and maybe the most important part though is the gut health that comes with it. Because we're learning more and more that gut health, you know, really is just how healthy you are. And that is the most important part. So the fermentation is fantastic there. So
Yeah,
yeah, that
yeah. No, not to digress.
yeah, well, yeah, a little side chocolate there, but yeah. So I did all that, and then ended up in Ottawa working at
Yeah,
Atelier for a few years, going
yeah.
from line cook to sous chef, and then bar lupulus for a couple of years as head chef, and then I got an opportunity to open
Hmm.
Perch, and it was nearing the end of COVID. I thought I was in the clear. I was nervous, but I
Mm.
jumped on the opportunity, and then sure enough, we got shut down for a month. Our second month open, so
Yeah,
that was painful. Uh,
that's challenging.
yeah, and because we were so new, it was a little bit harder to sell meals to go and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
luckily, Ottawa is a great community. And it's tight knit. It's a little bit smaller city. I mean, Toronto's however many million. Well, Ottawa's just the 1 million. Um, so I
Sure.
did have a bit of a following from my time at Bar Lupulus, which is great.
Yeah.
So we did fine. We were okay. And also, we did not flourish, but we did okay, and we got through that month. And then it's been. I mean, I would love to say smooth sailing, but it is a restaurant, so it's still rocky all the time. But
Of course,
it's
of
it's
course.
it's been great. It's been awesome, and yeah, so that brought me to Perch, and here we are.
Yeah, so tell us about Perch itself. I mean, setting up a restaurant. I mean, you just said it's a challenge. It has to be a bit of a labor of love for anyone to commit themselves to a culinary career, not just to be the executive chef or something like that, but then also be responsible for the business side of a restaurant. So what made you feel like it was necessary to take that next step and actually open a restaurant as opposed to just kind of being the chef of chefs in somebody else's?
Yeah, I mean, I always knew it's what I wanted. I always wanted my own restaurant. I didn't always know why or what would come from it. I mean, I'm still learning day to day, to be honest, but um, definitely, I just wanted to be able to do things my way and kind of focus in
Hmm.
on what I feel is important and not so much.
Hmm.
Um, I just didn't want to have to. I didn't want to have to bend to other so not maybe not the right way to put it, but not options, but like opinions. Which I mean, also
Absolutely,
multiple
I
opinions
get it.
are important. It's always good to have conversations with the team, uh, because just because I think something's the right way doesn't mean it is. Or if I
Sure.
think it's gonna be easiest this way, it doesn't mean it will be. But I just wanted to make sure that, on things that kind of matter the most, the composting, the sustainability aspects, the employee benefits, the work-life balance for
Yeah.
my staff more than myself or my partner, but
Yeah.
um, I just wanted to make sure they were there and kind of create almost or just show that a better way can be done in the restaurant industry. Um,
Yeah. I
are we?
mean, what I'm hearing you say here, I mean, is it's not just about a vision of what your menu is going to be or how you're going to source it. And I want to talk about those things, or even the sustainability piece, which is incredibly important, and the composting and all of those things, which I also want to talk to you more, maybe a little bit about. But there seems to be a higher calling here, and that is, respecting employees, creating an environment where your team can thrive, where they can get that work-life balance. And I think we all know in one way, shape, or form that the hospitality industry can be brutal.
Yeah, it's hard.
And to come into it in a way that, you are not only just setting a standard for what's on the plate, but setting a standard that is elevating and empowering your team, I think is really fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. It's very important to me. I mean, I've seen so many people burn out in this industry and just kind of spiral into drinking, drugs, or just in the
Yeah.
industry, and then that's sad in its own right too. I've seen really talented cooks just say, you know what, I'm gonna go be an electrician or a plumber or and they make more money, and their life balance is easier, and they have a bit more of a
Yeah.
9 to 5, and they can see the family. I kind of restaurants are hard. It's a lot of hours. People don't like. I get in at 9 a.m. I don't leave till midnight most days. It is what it is for the most part, but it can be done better. And especially for staff. I mean, as the owner, I chewed this. I took this bite. I knew I would have to work, longer hours.
Right.
But my staff aren't. They almost never hit overtime. Like I don't remember the last time staff did overtime. Especially paying hourly. So like if they do want to overtime, they get paid for those hours, and they get paid properly for those hours. So just making sure that the employees, the staff, have time to be with their family or go camping or go. They have 3-day weekends. So they have a day to kind of decompress. They have a day to have fun. They have a day to do what they gotta do. 2 days just really isn't enough for the most part anymore.
I totally agree. I'm all for the 4-day work week if there's a way to pull it off. And I'm listening to you talk about this, and it reminded me that I know that you are involved or an advocate with the Burnt Chef program. Is that right? Is that what it's called? The Burnt Chef program?
I'm an ambassador for the Burnt Chef program, which is based primarily, I guess, in Europe now. But they're doing big pushes into Canada, into the U.S., and other parts of the world.
I met another chef from Toronto who's involved too.
Was it Imran?
So tell her. Yeah.
He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
So I worked at
he's great. He actually did mention that, and for our listeners and viewers, you'll get a little Emran at some point later in the season because he was at the Good Food Innovation Awards from Food Day Canada, and we have an episode coming out later in the summer about that. So
he's doing great
just
things.
Put a pin in that, listeners and viewers, because we're going to come back to that at some point. But Burnt Chef program seems incredible and necessary from everything that we just were talking about as far as burnout and all that stuff. Tell us about what that organization does.
So, I mean, as an ambassador, by no stretch of imaginations can I really help if somebody's going through something, mental health issue. But I am, as I do know who they can reach out to. I'm always an ear or a shoulder if somebody needs to talk. I've definitely had people call me and just need to vent, and that's great. By no stretch of imagination, as an ambassador, am I a counselor or anything like that? But we have, as an ambassador, we just have a bit more. We just have to know who people can reach out to and stuff like that.
Exactly. Referrals to services, supports.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is super important and can be very difficult to find when you yourself are, not in the best headspace, and that you're start looking for that stuff. It's not always easy. But Perch Chef program definitely just wants to, get rid of the stigma that mental health doesn't matter, because it is the most important thing. It is, and again, in our industry, in the hospitality industry, I mean, I personally know a lot of people that have taken their own lives in it, which is pretty brutal. And one person in particular was the reason I joined the Perch project, because it was just really unfortunate, and he had a really bright future. So they just want to make sure the stigma kind of gets taken away, and that people know they can reach out and that they're not alone, and we all go through mental health issues, even absolutely everybody. There's nobody that doesn't go through a bad day or a bad week or anything like that.
Absolutely.
So really, it's just
we'll share those resources, on our page too, so people know, if they are in the hospitality industry or restaurant industry, that the Burnt Chef program is there, and they can find some resources, that might be more specific to the industry. It's just wonderful. Again, like it's exciting to hear someone take this like comprehensive and holistic approach to not just being an entrepreneur, but understanding that there's a humanity aspect to all of this.
Yeah, we're all human in the end, and we all, it's in the end. I mean, I take what I do very seriously, but in the end, we're just cooking. We're just putting food on plates. I know there's more to it than that. We can change somebody's day for sure in a restaurant, and people can come in and they can come in upset and leave thrilled. It's happened here before. But in the end, like let's just all be nice to each other and help each other out.
Yeah, well, and there's no better way to do that than through food and around a table.
Agreed.
I mean, it is
Agreed.
something that I always talk a bit about this, and I'm a broken record at pretty much, I swear, every interview that I do about, food is this bridge. It's a way to break down barriers. It's a way to bring people together. It's a way for people to understand each other better, to learn about new cultures, it sounds like in your environment there at Perch, that kind of sentiment is integrated throughout everything that you do. We're all human, which means we all have to eat. And I am very, very interested in learning about your approach to ingredients, sourcing, how you identify your purveyors, the folks you work with, what you're looking for, and how important utilizing local and Canadian ingredients are to your menu.
Yeah, so we are. I would love to say we're 100% Canadian ingredient restaurant. We're not. We're close. We're probably 97% of our ingredients are Canadian.
That's pretty still very impressive.
Yeah, it's not always easy. Finding what we want to work with from a Canadian farm. But it's important. I mean, I find a lot of people, when they think of fine dining, they think of luxury. When they think of luxury, they think of Europe or just
right, French,
coming overseas.
Right, French food, yeah.
Yeah, and that doesn't have to be the case. Like we have, I mean, in my opinion, we have the best seafood probably in the world. Our waters are really cold, quite pristine.
Yeah.
And cold water is just better for shellfish and fish, in my opinion. It makes it a sweeter, denser meat. So like you look at like Newfoundland, amazing oysters, amazing sea urchin. Atlantic cod is phenomenal.
Absolutely.
We got lobster all over the Maritimes.
Yep.
New Brunswick, we have amazing caviar, which.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So Acadian
That's
caviar,
cool.
Acadian sturgeon and caviar. He has farmed short nose, and then they fish for wild Atlantic. But he does it in such a way that it's actually helped the population out. And the caviar is incredible. Okay. The sturgeon's incredible. And then you go to the West Coast, and like there's the black cod, the sablefish farm off of Vancouver Island. Farmed fish does have a bit of a bad rep sometimes, and I get it for things like salmon and really fast-moving fish and fish that like to move like crazy. Black cod, for the most part, are pretty lazy fish. They actually farm pretty well, and they do a really great job.
I've had some experience. I've seen aquaponic and fish farms, if you will, and labs like that. It really, if it's done right, it definitely can be.
Like most things, if you do it right,
fine.
It can be great. And I mean, you can go even up into Yukon.
There's zero waste too, because like a lot of what I've seen is that you end up utilizing, the waste, and that it becomes the nutrients and phosphates for the rest of the, the garden that is there. If you're growing other vegetables, if you're growing lettuce, if you're growing tomatoes, if you're growing peppers, etc., you can then utilize that, and it becomes fully sustainable in that context.
Exactly, and you're not bottom trawling the ocean or ripping up the reefs or anything like that.
Yep.
So it has its benefits, but it can be done poorly as well. So you do have to do a little bit of research. You do have to look into it.
Sure, like anything.
Exactly, like anything. But yeah, so showcasing Canadian ingredients was always the thing I wanted to do. And
so one of the things I wanted to ask about, because I like looking at my old notes, because as you mentioned, we talked a while back, and we're finally having this conversation together for our audience. But I remember you saying something about like you even try to find things like miso and citrus, sourced locally. And those, how does that work in Canada?
So there's 2 citrus farms in Canada that I'm aware of. There's one on Salt Spring Island. I don't know much about that one because it is so far away. There's also an olive farm there, actually. So I do once in a while get olive oil from Salt Spring Island.
Interesting.
Okay. Canadian olive oil, if you can get your hands on it, it's beautiful. It is.
I've heard it's
so
fantastic.
Nice. But yeah. So there's one there, and then there's the citrus farm in Laval, Quebec. That one is
no kidding.
More greenhouse, obviously.
Oh, is this Lufa? Is this part of Lufa?
Citrus.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is greenhouse. It is greenhouses where they can open the doors, though. So in the nice hot summer days, they open the doors and let they're in.
That's so interesting.
And they've mimicked. They have a lighting system that kind of mimics the sun from Japan, because they do.
Oh my goodness!
Primarily, so they'll grow like yuzu, calamansi. I think they had a pomelo tree when I was there. And yeah, just stuff like that. And the citrus is beautiful, and it's grown here. Yeah, it's really really nice stuff. And then miso. There's a woman in Wakefield, Quebec. It's about 40 minutes north of Ottawa, and she just does
Okay.
small batch miso. So well done. And actually, the tamari that she gets too is some of the best tamari I've ever had. I've just
Wow.
found Canadian soy sauce that doesn't use soy. It uses camelina seeds. It's out of
Oh,
Quebec,
interesting.
so it's camelina and it's yellow peas, and then grown with koji.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah. So finding these things is really almost a full-time job, and just constantly.
I can imagine. Why
Yeah.
is it so important to you then? I mean, people would be, I think, very willing, and many are, depending, to just say, well, we're just going to go to mass suppliers, we're going to just use whatever, and not looking for small batch miso, north of Ottawa. So, what drives you to say, I want these local ingredients, I want to find these artisan purveyors, I want to find our local folks, and find somebody that actually grows citrus, even if it's in a greenhouse in Canada?
I absolutely love people who are passionate. I absolutely love, like, one of my favorite things isn't necessarily the cooking. It's getting to talk about these purveyors, these farms, these people that ferment for the
Amen, dude.
miso.
That's
Like,
why I do this.
yeah, like it's when I get to the
Absolutely.
table and people ask me, I get giddy, and like oftentimes I'll have to have like somebody come and like tap me on the shoulder and be like, "You've been there for half an hour. You should move on." I just love talking about what people are doing in our country, and we have such
Yeah.
a wide range of land and so many different types of ecosystems, and almost anything can be
Yep.
done here, and just supporting the people that are doing it on a small scale is, I don't know, it's exciting, and I just love it. And I know people are doing it that way in Europe as well, or Asia as well, or the States, South America, Central America. Like, it's being done everywhere, but to promote it in your own backyard, so to say,
Yeah.
it's just, there's something very special and very heartwarming about it, and
Absolutely.
keeping the money,
I'm seeing more and more
local,
of it.
keeping
Yeah.
my dollars local. And I'm a firm believer that we vote with our dollar in the end. If people see, if organizations see that more and more money is going towards organic or biodynamic or whatever, more and more people are going to start
Yeah.
doing it. So just, every dollar's a vote, as weird as that sounds, I guess. But
No, I know what you mean.
yeah,
You're showing where your values
yeah,
are by putting your money where your mouth is.
good people with
Absolutely.
good products. It's the most important thing.
I love good people with good
Yeah.
products, and you seem to be one of those good people that are promoting good products as well. So I want to talk a little bit about your cookbook, Perch. And as I said, it literally just came yesterday for me, so I haven't had a chance to fully, get integrated into this. But as I open it up, here's pictures of, looks like a chicken farm or an egg farm. So I just literally opened it up to, what seems to be a little bit of a story. Here you are again.
Yeah, so we did.
Showing that you are out there, doing what you need to do to be able to be hands-on. So tell me about, why this like, what inspired you to do a cookbook to begin with? Not like you already didn't have enough on your plate, pun intended. And then I did a cookbook, as I've and it's really hard work. So I know that it's not just like, oh, I have a restaurant, I want to do a cookbook. I mean, there's so much more that goes into it.
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking to Chef Joe, who owns Coconut Lagoon and Tally in Ottawa. I was asking him about his books. He's done two now. And he's like, "Do you want to do one?" I was like, "Oh, maybe one day, but like, I don't know." And then the next day, I got an introduction email to his publisher. And Chef Joe was like, "You got to get this guy locked in and get him to write a book."
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, to have somebody like Chef Joe kind of have your back is unbelievable. He's such an
Yeah.
important figure in this community in Ottawa. But yeah, and then so talking to Figure One Publishing, I knew I wanted, as we spoke about, a minute, 2 minutes ago, I really like promoting the small farms, the purveyors, the people
Yep.
that are passionate. But I wanted to make
Yeah.
sure that this book showcased that. So I think we have 7 or 8 little essays about like some of the farms with fishermen. They're
Yeah.
used at Perch, and just wanted to tell their story a little bit and how amazing what they do
Yeah,
is.
here's some
Yeah.
on the water.
Yeah, so that's out in New
So-
Brunswick. That's the sturgeon
Awesome.
farming. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so again, soil, land, sea, And so this is actually the sea part. So why was it divided in that manner, soil, land, sea?
Just because, I mean, the publishers wanted a name for the book, and I wasn't really sure what to do, but they kind of realized that because, the stories and what I'm passionate about, what I really want to tell, it has everything to do with the land.
Yeah.
And the farms and all that. So soil, land, sea just kind of made sense because, we got the veg, we got the animals that live on the land, and then we got the sea, which a lot of, stuff comes from the ocean on our menu.
Yeah.
And the Great Lakes when we can get, some stuff up from Affinity Fish out of Toronto and stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love me my Great Lakes.
Oh,
I'm a perch and walleye girl in that sense.
Yeah, walleye.
Growing up on the Great Lakes.
Oh, you can get some nice burbot out of the Great Lakes too, and that's an underrated fish.
Yeah.
Especially its liver, as weird as that sounds.
That does sound weird. I'm not convinced, but I'll leave that one to you.
Fair. All right, fair. But yeah, so it just kind of was able to. The naming was just to kind of showcase, how much Perch cares about, the environment and where our stuff actually comes from, more than just what's, directly. It's more about. I mean, the book is Perch. It is, the recipes are 100% the recipes I give the team. Like they are the exact recipes. Which means some of them are going to be a little bit difficult potentially, but
yeah, they look. I mean, the plated recipes definitely look like something out of a very high end gourmet restaurant, which
is what we strive for.
Says something. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so it just kind of goes back to we wanted to showcase the farms and the name, the soil and sea, kind of emphasizes that.
And I know that you've worked with foragers, you've worked with divers.
Yep.
What is that experience? Because again, when I'm thinking about soil, land, sea, right? It's not just the obvious. It sounds like it's when you're looking at foraged ingredients, for example, that's something that you oftentimes have to rely on someone with a lot of expertise to be able to find where it is, what's good and what's not. Not confusing it with other things. So, mushrooms. I mean, I've done mushroom foraging, fiddleheads, ramps, all of that stuff. And you got to be with somebody who's skilled. I wouldn't go out there on my own without somebody that knew what they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, we just did a collaboration dinner with Nick from Prince Edward Island. Instagram, his handle is Nick of North. He's got to be one of the most knowledgeable.
Got to check him out.
Yeah, he's got to be one of the most knowledgeable foragers I know. And him and I just started walking, and he just that's this. You take this apart. He showed me how to eat a sumac, not just the red part of the sumac you typically would, but the young shoots.
Yeah.
You peel them back. It's almost like a cucumbery flavor. It's really interesting.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, and then just like all the prickly ash, which is like a Szechuan pepper kind of note. But grows
cool.
right here. So yeah, foraging is definitely something that you have to study a bit. You can't just go out and start eating things, which I have done, and I've gone.
Don't do this. Don't do this at home, kids.
Yeah.
Is what. Do not do this at home. You don't know what you're dealing with.
And then for divers, I mean, going to Newfoundland, Buena Vista, I work with a company called Foggy Shoals, and they'll have sea urchin divers go down, and we'll get 10 pounds in, flown in the next day, and sea urchin is. See, talking about sustainability and all that, sea urchin's an interesting one because it is a product that I love. It's one of my favorites, but it doesn't have a long lifespan once it's out of the ocean. So
that makes sense. I've heard that.
Yeah.
Like when you think about sushi restaurants in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not always sustainable from a restaurant perspective because if I get 10 pounds in, but we only get through 5 pounds, well, that other 5 pounds is now just compost, which I guess isn't the worst thing in the world. Compost is super great, but it doesn't really make sense for a lot of restaurants. It also takes a lot of time. And we have a very small team, so it's very labor intensive. So with sea urchin, we had to kind of figure out a way to process it all and kind of preserve it. So we were able to do that actually in the Shaolin Mushi, which took me probably about a good week of figuring out the best way to kind of cook it but have it still be sea urchin and have it still be its flavor, just in a different texture because now it's Shaolin Mushi, so a savory Japanese custard.
Now, when you think about Canadian ingredients, you don't necessarily, and this is one of the wonderful things I think about, how food and culture intersect, right? So you're making something with Japanese flavors in a restaurant in Ottawa with sea urchin from Newfoundland. Yeah. So that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know there's definitely a bit of a Japanese influence in my food. We talked about miso
Yeah.
tamari, we talked about all that.
Right.
I'm not really sure where
Yeah.
that came from, to tell you the truth. But I do like the umami that all that stuff brings.
Sure.
And then kind of intertwining it all together with, like you said, the sea urchin from Newfoundland, the Japanese method shawanmushi. It all works so well. And kind of brings something a little bit new. Shawanmushi's been one of those things on our menu since day one. I mean, it's changed.
Yeah.
The presentation's changed a lot. But the base itself has always kind of been there, and it's because it's just such a comforting dish, but it seems elevated, but it's really quite simple. As long as you can steam custard,
Yeah.
water bath or however you can do it. It's just one of those things that people love, and they're always kind of, just really comforting and just brings, people just enjoy it.
That's great. Well, I am definitely going to have to maybe try it sometime next time I'm out in Ottawa. You just have such a unique menu. And one of the things I think we also talked about when we spoke, quite a while back is I think you mentioned that you use a lot of duck, small bird, game, that kind of thing in your menu as your main proteins. Is that right?
Yeah,
Because that's a little bit unique as well.
Yeah, so I would say mostly our last protein usually is duck. Quebec has some great farms. We're pretty close to Quebec, obviously. Mariposa Farms they get great duck as well. And it's just something that is, it's so flavorful, and it's just one of my favorite proteins, duck, if I'm being honest. And it's a little bit easier to know, everything's being used. It's a little bit easier to make sure that it's coming from a good source, especially when you have, places like Mariposa Farms helping you out to do all that.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, like right now we also have quail on, so we get quail from Quebec as well.
Okay.
And we use the whole bird. Comes with like a little quail donut and quail fudge, and yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's interesting. And I have to say, duck is actually a lot more versatile than what folks think. And I had a chance recently to speak to a duck purveyor, a duck farm, King Cole Ducks.
Oh, yeah.
And they, their story was incredible. It really intrigued me as well. 75 years, female farm. I'm like, wow. So, it seems like there are a lot of folks in the agricultural industry, as you said, right in our backyard, that are committed to raising the best product that they can raise to end up with, the best food on your plate. Now, this is Cookbooks Across Canada, because that's, I want to know this. I know this took you over 2 years to do, because you were out there and you were highlighting the farmers, and the recipes in this book are literally, as you said, the ones that are in the restaurant. But would you do it again? Would you do another cookbook?
Oh, I think so. I'm not sure I would do one soon. But
right.
I mean,
I get that.
I did enjoy it. The hardest part, honestly, was the editing of everything. Because I know. Obviously, I write like a cook.
And all the recipe testings, I guess, like recipe testings, but then you already know in that sense.
Well, that's just it. So they were already tested, and they were already, my team's already done it, so we knew the recipes worked.
To me was the hardest.
I just copied and pasted, but then I had to rewrite it.
Yeah.
So I write things like a cook. Like I write things short form. I write it so that this song was the best or the most accurate language, I guess, because when you're a cook, you abbreviate things. So I had to go through everything.
You're working in a time crunch oftentimes.
So I had to rewrite everything, and that became a little bit difficult. And then going back and forth with the editors, they're like, "This doesn't make sense." I was like, "It makes perfect sense." They're like, "It doesn't." I was like, "All right, I'll rewrite it." And then one of the things I wanted was everything to be in percentages. So all my recipes are in weights. But
well, and most chefs are, and as someone who bakes, right, that you really should be using a scale rather than 2/3 of a cup or whatever.
Exactly.
But home cooks don't necessarily do that, even if they have a scale, like a food scale in their house.
Yeah, and I get percentages as well. So like if it calls for 93 grams of cucumber or something, and but you have 40 grams. There's a percentage next to it in the cookbook, so okay, that's supposed to be the 100%, so now I just adjust everything else with their percentages. It takes a little bit of time to get used to, but once you start working with percentages and grams, it's, in my opinion, the best way to go.
Amazing. Well, you're the professional here, and I've learned so much today. You really have inspired me to take a visit out to Ottawa, which I actually do have planned at some point this summer. But anytime people are committed to supporting local, integrating sustainability into their business practices and lifting up their team and empowering them. You really are doing great work, Justin, and congratulations on a wonderful and unique cookbook, Perch, which you can get any place you get books. I got mine, as I said, on Amazon, but I also like to plug the local bookstores. Like here in Toronto, we have Good Egg, which is all cookbooks. In Montreal, there's another one, Appetite for Cooks, all cookbooks. So, go to your independent bookstore if you can and tell them to carry Perch, because in that same vein, we want to support locals. So, Justin, thank you so much. Justin Champagne-Lagarde, the chef and owner of Perch, a restaurant in Ottawa, and the author of Perch, the cookbook, Soil, Land, and Sea. Thank you so much for joining More Than Maple here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You've been listening to More Than Maple, a show about food and culture from Harrowsmith Magazine and Bountiful Media. I'm your host, Capri Cafaro. We're so happy that you tuned in today to listen to Justin Champagne-Lagarde, the chef and owner of Perch, as well as the author of the cookbook of the same name. Continue to listen up for more Cookbooks Across Canada episodes throughout the season of More Than Maple. But before I go, I have a really big special announcement for all of you. We here at Bountiful and Harrowsmith are going to be releasing a digital series called Postcards Across Canada, celebrating Canadian culture through food, agriculture, and agritourism. Our first stop is Prince Edward County. So check out Harrowsmith's YouTube channel starting the first week of July, and then just continue to come back because we will continue to have more of these Postcards Across Canada stops on the YouTube channel throughout the rest of the year. So Prince Edward County, our first stop. Today, thanks for joining us on More Than Maple. More Than Maple is a production of Bountiful Media North America for Harrowsmith Magazine. It's researched, written, and hosted by me, Capri Cafaro. Recorded at That Toronto Podcast Studio in Toronto, Ontario, with technical support and post-production by 115 Creative.